For today's video, we're going to be playing a deck that's got a bit of a theme. It is snakes and spiders, and I figured since I've been putting off climbing for real on the ladder for a bit, I've mostly just been goofing off. This was a great time to go ahead and film with this list, because I don't think it's necessarily good. It can certainly win games. Don't get me wrong, like, it's got the power there, because I think yellow-based control is just strong enough as it is, but this is far from fine-tuned. However, it is very much on theme, and as such, I really enjoy it. So, it's mono yellow, early cycle stuff, so mazes, clay effigies, Scourge of Serpents, because serpents, venomfang mutant, because this is also a spider. If you look at the type, it's a mutant spider, yahui, meso, libre, orbital jammer, poxbringer, like these are all just standard yellow control stuff, but serpent den, serpentine empress, down here we have Goliath's web, again for the old spiders. Wonder Drug is in there. Model of Duality. It's got, you know, the snake on the card, but also it's just a great source of card draw in this particular list because of the serpent dens. Ollama ring, misanthropia, zolea, harvester, sapo, and tangleskein. Again, because of the spiders. So it's literally just jam all the snakes and spiders into a list and go. Now, you could argue that I'm not going theme enough. This yahui, for example, could very well instead be garterkens, but since it's a mono yellow list, it's really hard to just not run yahui. Yahui's really, really good. And the reality is a serpentine empress as a one of probably isn't worth going all in on for the theme. I will say this, if serpentine empress had lurker, I would actually switch for the garterkens, because getting her some triggers would mean that she is incredibly dangerous. However, the fact that she doesn't have lurker, in my opinion, is a bit of a problem, because if I've got a board full of snakes and then I play her and she's only the 2/2, I either have to like play her on a turn where all my snakes are gonna die, or I have to protect her some other way. So in practice, she's just been very brittle, in my opinion. If I was also trying to build this deck for real, I say kind of semi-jokingly, I do think Helm of Conscription probably belongs in it somewhere as well, because it's very, very good at kind of buffing up your bodies. In fact, I would argue that maybe going with like Helm over the spider package is probably better, but we're not here for better, right? We're here for fun, for themes, because like I said, I'm putting off climbing the actual ranked ladder for a bit. I need to do it just to do it, but I'll probably pick like a weekend where I can just jam a bunch of games. So for now, we're goofing off. And we're going to do what we always do. We're going to jump onto the ladder, play 2 games, win or lose. I might start shortening these videos just as a heads up, because when I play, unless I'm playing aggressive lists, then I might still do 2 games per video, but when I'm playing these like longer control decks, it's like 20 minutes a match by itself. So I really feel like if I'm trying to keep these videos a bit shorter, mostly just for your guys' convenience, then it might be worth it for me to consider going down to just 1 game per video. So I don't know, we'll see. I like doing 2 games because a lot of times you get to see a little bit of everything that way. Whereas if you do 1 game, sometimes, you know, the game just goes horribly and then you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Oh, so many options. What do we want to keep? I think we're going to actually send 1 effigy back and just play an effigy. And I think we're going to do that mostly because next turn, we're likely going to play a yahui, which means we're not playing an effigy. The turn after that is likely a serpent's den, which means we're not playing an effigy. And so as much as I want to cycle the other one as well, by the time we get to where we're cycling it, it's multiple turns down the road, so it's a 1-cost card that's basically like a 4-cost card at that point. We're not going to play this anytime soon. Yeah, let's go ahead and develop the yahui over the venomfang. I like to be reactive with the venomfangs. Our opponent is potentially on some sort of reanimator list. No, okay. I saw the foresight. I saw the green. And that also does change our plan a wee bit. Because while I wanted to develop the serpent's den, stunning Bella over there makes an awful lot of sense. I mean, she is stunning, but he is stunning her, so, you know. The luchador, I think, wins that trade.
Do you
All right.
wisdom?
Because she has lurker, that's a great way to try to defend. We would prefer to top deck something like an ollama ring here, if possible. But we do not find it. We do find a misanthropia though, so we can just plan around that, I suppose. Let's take the damage. Slide this over. And then we're going to end up developing the serpent den here. We just got to figure out what to burn. I don't think we need 2 Goliath's webs right now. So let's go ahead and do this as well. And then we're just going to pass. It's mostly just about preventing the damage from this. Because we know that if we're going to be playing Misanthropia, then that's fine. So jumping up to 7 there. Now there's a chance we don't play Misanthropia. I guess it largely depends on what happens here. With them being on winter, even if this goes here, that is a straight trade. But we do want to get rid of Bella before things go too haywire. And waiting to see what happens. Alright. The Mothman prophecy. Doing some work. Getting some damage in. So, next few turns are pretty scripted for us, in my opinion. Getting rid of this is a top priority, so it's probably worth the Misanthropia. Following that, it's probably a Harvester. If they don't cast this, they'll be sitting on it, and by developing a Harvester, you're giving them something that, you know, yes, it's a big tempo play for them because they're bouncing something that costs 6, but we gain health out of it, so kind of works in our favor. They're going to raid the tombs. That's a great play for them. Kind of hoping that they were going to run out of more options there, but now what's interesting is we actually don't have to Misanthropia now if we don't want to. I mean, we do risk taking a bunch of damage as a result, but we could instead just play Meso, Libre, and a Venomfang mutant, because this is going to trade here because of winter. And this could at least force some extra cards out of them. So I like this plan. Let's go ahead and do something like this. Mostly because we kind of want to get them to try to overcommit to the board. And we find another color interesting. They're likely splashing blue for thunderclaps and things like that. Blue's a pretty common pair with green in these spell-based lists. So that makes sense. Forked lightning, sure. This picks up the blight. There's another detained, okay. So this is gonna die. It's just a question of what we want to do here. I think that this is fine because we can develop Harvester. As I said, they'll likely bounce, but then we gain the health anyway. Because again, we kind of want them to overdevelop the board. So we know exactly what's going to happen by doing this, but I think that this is still fine. We absolutely have to, we'll use misanthropia to wipe that, but... we can't let that brand. So the reality is we have to misanthropia this next turn one way or the other. It won't kill this, but because of the -1 when they when we cast a spell, it'll take it down to 8 so that it's unable to brand the following turn, and then it'll die the next time. So I think one way or the other we're gonna have to play this unless we just draw something else that gets the job done. Because we expect this to get bounced. Shocker, I know. There it is. Wow. Detaining my snake. Okay. Well, alright, now we're back to we don't have to because we can meso libre. So if I burn this harvester, I can model of duality and meso libre, which would let me draw another card. And I think that's what we want to do here. Getting this up so we can start drawing cards makes an awful lot of sense. And again, it just further delays the brand. And that's all we really care about. Now they can bounce this, but we'll just keep stunning, so... we also have that working for us, where, yes, they've got these double deports here, but... there's the spell flux, okay. Troik, so yeah, now we'll just hit with the misanthropia, and this will give us a lot of value, because we'll be getting rid of the tokens as well. And so I'm a fan. I want to do this really bad, just because then it dies for sure. But we'll do this again. This should go down to 8. Denying the brand. We're going to go ahead and crash this here anyway, because we want to make sure this comes back next turn. It makes for a nice, easy trigger if we play Clay Effigy the following turn to draw multiple cards. So we're also going to make sure we just take this for the heal. They're only going to draw the one card. I think it's actually safe to burn this poxbringer. So they have Bella, but because we played Misanthropia, their best thing here is to stun a minion, but all my minions are basically going to die. Or they could make their spells one less to cast. We got kind of rewarded for waiting, because again, we got rid of the tokens. All of the previous turns, it was kind of a feels bad Misanthropia. So, gonna cycle through. Ollama Ring's a great pickup for us right now. But let's go ahead and draw some cards first. Serpentine is also very, very nice. We'll make sure we develop that, and we'll go with the ring. Just because this will give us potentially more triggers. Now, if you're wondering, it's not shown, but your power does technically go negative right? So we've got -3 from the blight and -3 from Troik. So even though this had 0 and then I gave everything +1/+1, it's not coming from 0. It takes into account all of the modifiers. So if you're wondering why I can't attack there, that's why. But now we've got powered up snakes working for us. We've got the model of duality, so hopefully we can start jumping ahead on the card draw resources. And we have a pretty decent health lead, so I think we're in a good spot here. We also just hit fall, so we're drawing more cards that way as well. So next turn we'll draw an extra card for sure because of the double snakes. But we can draw an extra card this turn as well. So there's no reason not to. If we just go ahead and we slide down a maze and a spider, that draws us a card. We'll just take the heal and save these, since we're about to have a pretty full board anyway. Now, with the exception of the maze, everything we've played is technically a token. So those deporteds are basically like hard removal, but we're fine with that. The ice spike there, if they were about to burn a blue card and then thunderclap, would be moderately scary. But I think we're in again a pretty good spot if I had to guess. And they're gonna waste it. They're on a low enough health total that we forced that out of them, and that feels pretty good. Let's go ahead and draw a card here as well. Ollama ring's a great pickup. Get that damage in. And I'm actually going to go ahead and play the satellite here as well. Largely because... And we'll also burn this and then heal. But I'm going to play it largely because it will kind of act as a shield for my other artifacts. Even though we don't plan on using it, if we start taking damage back, this takes the damage first because it was the most recently played, as you'll see now with this thunderclap. So this takes the damage, which just helps us preserve the rings and the model. Because we're in a great spot as long as we have those. So that'll be a bounce there. Again, just trying to preserve their health total. Gonna raid the tombs to get some more resources here, because that was their fall turn, so the 3 cards they have right now, plus the one they draw next turn, are it. Our snakes spawn, and we draw an extra card from the model, so that's why we drew 2 that turn. Go ahead and develop a wee bit further. Now, again, I'd like to play this with a little more confidence. I guess we will. We got a lot of deadly stuff out there. We can go ahead and play this and then take our heal and call it. They would have to burn a blue card and Cataclysm to wipe our board, and even that would basically just be lethal. Because they'd be at 1 health and Poxbringer would get it done. We really only need 1 minion to survive.
Do you seek wisdom?
Alright, so far so good. We know what we're going to draw. It's a serpentine. But we also know that we can get the job done with the old Poxbringer lethal. Play the snakes just for the snakes. Alright, so that's 1 game in the books. We gotta win with the theme, with the snacks. Gain some health along the way. Feels pretty good. See if we can go get another win. Keep bouncing all around gold 4, like up and down, up and down. But I've been playing a bunch of non-traditional decks lately. Not stuff that I would climb with. I prefer proactive decks when I like to climb, so I'm a big fan of at least mid-range in games like this. I like I like punishing people who maybe have slow starts, things like that. I like making them make the tough decisions. It's the old Magic point of view, right? Like, I used to play a lot of aggro and Magic, and the rule of thumb was math is for blockers, right? Make them do the math. I don't want to do math. I'm gonna put stuff on the board and keep attacking, and I'll make you do the math. That's usually the way I would prefer to approach it. All right. Looks like we have potentially red aggro on Rainbow, huh? Seems peculiar. So it sounds weird, but with this hand, I actually think Zolea is the safest burn. I love Zolea. But I don't think we want to give up something that gains us health. I don't think we want to give up either of these because we don't have a 3-drop. So right now this is like a 2 and a 3-drop. This is another blocker on 4. This is likely on curve on 5. So it came down to Ollama Ring and Zolea, and this is more likely to have a better impact. Same thing, like, I love Sapo, but Sapo is gonna be the burn here. Second Misanthropia is a pretty great pickup for us as well. Let's go ahead with the venomfang, I guess. Could have maybe been yahui. But in my head, I was like, well, if they spend the infuse to trade even, then they're not developing. Alright, I guess yahui also would have survived that trade as well. Ring here. Can double drop them. This is going to die, so here it's just a... Let's get the den down. Blocks the same amount of damage either way. Theoretically. Turns out not going to block it at all with the Fire Eater. But again, this is why I don't think you want to run Rainbow. Yeah, they could have a feast coming. Oh, actually they just drew an enchantment. Well, I guess that's another way to get the job done. I don't think that... That's actually a tough call. Believe it or not, the web is pretty good because it locks out the agile stuff. And we really just need to stall for a turn, because next turn following that we're going to Misanthropia. So maybe the web is the way to go. The other option was to play a 2-drop and mend, just to fight off some of the health. Alright, so one way or the other, this is going like this. I think we just do this and mend. It's a bit of a risk. I mean, this is going to ping the snake so that this can push at least 2 damage, potentially 3 with the infuse. Alright, Panic Raider is a decent way for them to cycle through. That must have been what they got off. Oh, that's solid. Okay. Alright, so there's the damage going through. This is our on-curve Misanthropia, as expected. So they do have 3 cards here still to work with. We're going to take probably 5 damage. Oh, they didn't have a wyvern there. Alright. We'll burn this yahui and harvest it up then. Get some health back, get that blocker down. This is where hopefully we turn the corner and start to stabilize. So even with the infused, they still can't quite kill this off. So that's kind of nice. Now with the Fire Eater, they can. So if they ping and infuse... Oh, and they're opting not to. Well. I think they're just waiting because of winter. I suppose that's fair, but let's just get rid of it anyway. Let's play Sapo because he makes me hapo. At some point we got to start threatening counter pressure. So yes, they're going to continue to develop over there, but... We'll move that. So we have maze and ollama ring. It was actually a mistake if I was going to play the ollama ring. I think instead we're going to go with the web. Let's do this. Take the heal. I like this the most. Oof. That was not very kind to get rid of my sapo, who makes me hapo. Whoops. That was a mistake, because we're definitely playing the ring. I lost myself out of a damage there. I think we just heal. Yes, they could play a rusher. In theory, we could put something over there to block as a result, but I think I'd like to be able to answer with the meso libre. Yep, there's the rusher. Taking 5. Well, 6 with the infuse. Let's go ahead and drop that. Actually, don't think I want to activate this here. Let's do this. Extra insurance. We'll drop the yahui and heal. Because now we make it so they have to crash into something kind of everywhere. Going up to 6, huh? Thunderclap. Ouch. Well, we know we want to heal. That makes this trade very nice and easy. Get some damage in. Go ahead and play an empress here. So we're worried about another thunderclap. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that though. So like, if they have the second thunderclap, then then they have it. I mean, the good news is that's all their thunderclaps. The bad news is that was very effective at clearing our board. This blocks these 3. Let's get this in here. Let's kind of proactively play this, I guess. Make sure we also heal. Yeah. Problem is we're going to lose our ollama ring here because they're going to have a rusher. Yeah. And these speedways provide the overrun. So we do lose the ring. The second thunderclap was absolutely brutal on our end. So I think we're actually going to burn that. 'Cause we need to keep healing. We need to cover essentially every space. Now again, the biggest issue right now is these demolition speedways are going to allow any rusher to kind of go over the top. But as long as they're trading their bodies out, we're relatively okay. But we really need to find is like something like another harvester for the health. Wonder drug would be a absolutely monstrous pickup for us. Let's do this and take the stun. Again, we're doing our best to try to counter pressure here. Would have liked to have been able to have healed there. But yeah, we're really looking for something like Wonder Drug at the moment. Wow. I mean, let's take the cycle and see what we get. There we go. 7 or less life, though. Yeah, I think we take the cycle anyway. I think it's just too good to avoid. We worry about, again, like a big rusher coming over the top. We, like, can't lose, I don't think, if we take this route with them only drawing one card, our board the way that it is. Like, the only thing that would have bailed them out would have been a top deck Cataclysm, and then that buys a turn. So, yeah, alright. 2-0. 2-0, and that's it for this video. So, as I said, I'll put the deck list in the video description if you do want to check it out. I do think that if you want to take this shell and actually make it more competitive, there is, I think, a solid, like, mono yellow control list that exists here, but I wanted to be a little bit on theme and cheeky. Like, I don't think Scourge of Serpents, for example, is the sort of thing that you want to play. It has not impressed me ever, but whatever. We're playing snakes and spiders. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you. Hopefully I will catch you watching some videos in the future.